All right, how's it going, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite additions to the Raspberry Pi, which is the 7-inch touchscreen, which I've got right here. And it's in a pretty nice case with a Raspberry Pi 4 on the back. So adding a touchscreen to your Raspberry Pi really opens up a ton of additional possibilities for you to start working with. They are just great for home displays and things like that. And by doing those coding projects, it's a really great way to start getting into the nitty-gritty of how to develop apps. All right, so I've had the 7-inch touchscreen with the Raspberry Pi for at least a year now. However, I really just did not use that much because I just kind of did not like the look of it. But recently, I've completely gotten reignited with my love for making displays when I got this case. It's just a cheap case that goes around everything, but it just makes the touchscreen so much more usable and have it be actually a really nice display piece. Another really great thing about the 7-inch touchscreen is it draws power from the Raspberry Pi's bus. That means that you can power both the Raspberry Pi and the touchscreen all over USB-C. One single cable to get everything working right, and it just works really well. All right, so most recently what I've been using this for is going to be a persistent display that is continuously on top of my networking box that basically shows overall stats. It's going to have weather, my YouTube subscriber, the date, and things like that. Then, because it's also being run on a Raspberry Pi 4, I'm also going to have it set up to automatically back up any camera cards I attach to it and automatically dump them on my Synology NAS. This is a project I had working on for a while ago. However, I kind of stopped using it because I just really did not like the workflow for it. I did not like the look of the display, just bare metal on top of my networking box. Another thing I've started doing is I'm writing this app with Kivy, which is a Python module that allows you to create really great displays really easily. And it's been a lot easier for me to really develop something I like without spending a ton of time getting the graphics just right. So right now it's very much still a work in progress, but my plan for this going forward is to also have buttons that allow me to go through different displays on the right and left because this is a touchscreen. And I can start interacting with it like that and start executing commands. I'm probably also going to want to start adding in the ability to turn off and on smart light bulbs and all of those kinds of things. And that's one of the really nice things about having this all-in-one package is it's just a really clean setup. It's definitely a little bit more expensive than what you could get third party, but the display just works and everything just comes together very nicely. And so I do have a couple of things that I wish were improved on the Raspberry Pi display. One thing is, it's only 800 by 480 pixels, which makes sense with the lower powered Raspberry Pis, but now the Raspberry Pi 4 can drive two 4K displays. And so really I would love it if it would have a higher resolution, just because you do start to see it kind of blocky. The touchscreen does work great, but it's not super accurate. That might also just be the modules I've worked with, but it's not like a smartphone where you tap and it's perfectly there every time. It does not have perfect touch gesture. But where it's just so great is it's a super easy way to have a very clean display on your Raspberry Pi. All right, so that's the end of my kind of overview of the Raspberry Pi touchscreen, but I really do think it's a great way for people to start getting into building their own apps. I'll be creating more tutorials on how to set up Kivy and kind of get things going with building your own displays hooked into Python. Go ahead and leave any projects you've done with Kivy in the comments below, because I think that's a really great way for people to start getting motivation for different projects to work on. It's really nice seeing what other people have done and starting to build off that, and just great for inspiration overall. In a future video, once I've really cleaned up the code I use to sync photos off my camera's SD card onto my Synology, I'll be posting that code so that you'll be able to just plug in your camera's SD card and have it automatically upload to your server. All right, well that's all I've got for you. Have a good one. Bye.